Can you explain? We've heard about 4 different versions of what was actually called and what materials. Can you go back through and what you wanted out of the huddle and what you got?
Well, we had a play diagrammed, and we were going to bring DT off of a rescreen. They switched it, and Aaron looked at it. I saw his eyes and said, "That's not going to work." They were in a denial position, or in a chance. They're going to force him farther out. He looked back, and I think he saw the big guy on him. And said, "Hey, I'm going to get a good shot off. Don't know if it's going to go in or not." And you know, he timed it up. He got his feet set. He got his rhythm with the bounce and knocked it down.
Is that the default on that? If a guy comes out and they take that option away, is that the next best option, I guess?
Yeah. I mean, and you know, they're in a little bit of a mismatch problem. And then the biggest thing is we told our guys, hey, we want to get the last shot of the game. You know, we were in a position that we could take the last shot in terms of the score being tied. You know, we didn't want to give them an avenue to come back at us.
You know, that's one of those shots for the ages. I mean, one of those that's going to go down in OSU lore, I would think, and I'm sure 100,000 people will say they were here. Do you sense the specialness of that moment?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't had time yet. Just from the standpoint, since the game ended, I've been running around doing a lot of things. But I think when I get on this bus here and head back to Columbus, I'll take a deep breath and, you know, knowing that was a big time shot by a big time kid and a big time player, and you know, I think in time it will definitely do that.
What goes through your mind when you see him wave people off? It's obvious he's going to take it. What goes through your mind at that point?
I think you know, I don't want to make too much out of the wave off. He was running the play, and when he saw the guy switch it, he just said, "Hey, I got it," you know, and it wasn't a quote-unquote wave-off, like, I'm not going to pass it to you. That can be misconstrued.
Sure.
But he made the right read. I mean, there's no doubt about that, because DT was going to have to catch with his back away from the bucket, and I was fine. Hey, I've said this from day one. I'll live with any decision that kid makes.
I don't remember when Iowa State.
Big game. What about LeQuinn's big game again?
He was huge. You know, it's funny. He missed his first couple. I was excited to see him come back and knock shots down. I wish he would have taken the one that he traveled on late in the game. But you know, he's. I love the fact when he's dialed in and he makes big time plays. He's just something different for us.
Talk about Aaron's resolve. I mean, he had the turnovers, had the ball deflected in the lane, missed the layup, missed the 16-footer 30 seconds ago. Comes back and makes the winner. He just.
Well, that's who he is, and you know, the great thing about him is a lot of kids, if that stuff maybe happens to them, they quit defending. He's not going to do it. He plays himself through it. You know, the coaches were telling me he's exhausted. And I'm like, he's too tough to be tired. And you know, we took the timeout on the and one. And he said, "Why'd you take a timeout?" I said, "To give you a break. You've missed your last two." I said, "Just take a deep breath and go out and knock it down," which he did. But he's special.
That everything Iowa State was built to be, especially from the perimeter, they proved to be. I think they shot almost 50% or near 50%.
Yeah, 54 in the second half.
I mean, they blistered it. And them shooting that kind of number, do you feel like that's really something to get out of here? Them shooting that well and still you're able to advance.
Yeah. Well, that's what they do. And we had talked about it in a meeting. Last night as a staff, and said, hey, if we can get this thing up to about 12 in the second half, they're going to make a run. Hopefully 12 is enough to step, because that's, I mean, some of the shots they hit were incredible shots. I mean, Lucius was not a prolific three-point shooter coming in, he nails 5, but that's their system. And you know, the other thing with this team that scared the heck out of us is they got fifth-year seniors. I mean, those guys are 23 years old out there playing, and I thought they had great poise and did a tremendous job.
In 07, you had Ron Lewis make that shot. Your number one team in the country. Second round, he comes back, ties the game, sends it to overtime. You win the game, propelled on to the Final Four, final game.
Right.
Can those great shots, like what we saw today, can that propel teams? Obviously, we saw it then. Do you think that this team is a candidate for that?
You know, you hope, but you know, there's a lot of time before we play again. But you know, it's for at this time of the year, this is another great win. And it was, you know, something we haven't had yet, a last-second shot to win it. So, yeah, I hope our guys have confidence. I don't like the fact we had a 13-point lead and squandered it, but by the same token, I'm proud of the way we finished off the game.
Fourth straight. A lot of the top seeds in this region have already fallen. Is it kind of a fitting way to advance through the level to get out?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I know this. The best team on the West Coast is who we play next. I've seen Arizona play. They are loaded. They are extremely talented, and so we've got. I'm not taking anything away from those other teams that were ranked higher or whatever, but the best team on the West Coast has been Arizona.
Coach Niang, Sean, does that mean anything to you personally? It's been
since you coached against Sean?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I was talking to him Monday night about his fine, and I said, you know, or he said, you know, if we can just get to L.A., he said,